Hello everyone, it is Friday and today, once again, we are back summarising everything we've spoken about on the Patreon. If you are new here, hello, what my Patreon is all about, it's free of charge advice where we talk about different topics, we go into proper deep dives every weekday. And now what we're starting to do is each week is going to be a different theme, so it's a bit more concise and cohesive. And I'm going to let everyone on Patreon vote for what the theme is on that week. And we're going to break it down into different topics. There is a bonus tier on there as well. It's a $5 a month. And what you get on there are tools related to each video every day to help you put things into action right now. I'll put a link in the description on here. Go check it out. If you're really liking what you're hearing on this, we go into way more depth over on the Patreon on each topic. So let's get into it. If you are all about focusing on live this year, it's a really good thing to focus on for sure. So in the Patreon, every day I've been breaking down different sectors of live. I'm an ex-promoter and music venue owner myself, so I think I have quite a good knowledge around this. I have quite a big passion for live. I'm also a tour manager, so I am embodied by live. So yes, it's something we can really dig deep into and discuss a load of topics revolving around getting gigs, what you should do once you have those gigs, how to promote them, how to act when you're there, all that kind of stuff. So on Monday, we spoke about booking in shows and how a lot of artists are using social media and other means to rely on promoters and venues and booking agents coming to them, right? Because they've seen a bit of content, they're looking out for them, they've seen their following, they've seen their view counts. None of it matters. That's not what happens. You need to be putting yourself in front of these promoters and venue owners, booking agents, festivals, whoever it is. You need to be putting yourself in front of them. Putting yourself in front of them is not by posting on social media. There is a chance, I'm not going to write it off, there is a chance that a promoter or whoever could discover you via your content. But there is a higher chance that you'll get noticed by them if you contact them direct. And that can be by email or DM or anything like that. It doesn't matter. You are putting yourself in front of them rather than trying to get them to notice you, you know? So it's a much better way of doing it. It takes more time, you know, and I think it's why we get so attracted to the content. Because if you make a good piece of content, it can go to so many people and you're basically using one means to get your name out to potential fans, to potential promoters, booking agents, all of that. But it's just so rare. Whereas if you are directly contacting them, you're increasing your chances a lot to get seen and noticed by them. And there are certain ways of doing it, you know. It's all about being a bit more informal than what we think. I think we build a big picture in our heads that people on top of the music industry, or not even on top, but that own businesses there, that are running venues, that are running gigs. I think there's a big idea in our head that these people are very like formal and business head and we have to do everything right and our emails must be well structured. It's just not like that. Like, I talk to you like this. I'm an ex-venue owner. I'm a current tour manager and artist manager as well. And like, people in the music industry, we're just not super formal, getting like tight with emails and stuff. We just want a genuine chat and genuine interaction, not some formal corporate shit, you know. And I think a lot of you out there can structure the way you're speaking to people to be very formal, and it actually puts people off, to be honest, because it feels very rehearsed, I think is the right word. It just feels very kind of planned, especially with ChatGPT being out there now. You just look at it and you go, ChatGPT have written that for them. And it just feels a bit less personal. So just try and get a bit more personal. Just try approaching it in a bit more of a casual way. Again, it takes a bit more time because you've got to go and find these people. You've got to message them. You've got to find their email addresses, however you prefer to do it. And it does take more time. But the results are better. You will get better results. You will have an increased chance of actually getting a reply or even getting noticed or seen by the people that you want to get seen by. And over on the Patreon, the bonus tool for Monday was a bit of a cheat sheet, I guess, on how to format emails to promoters, booking agents, festivals, those kind of people. So if you're interested, yeah, go check that out. On Tuesday, we spoke about promoting and marketing your gigs. We spoke about not just relying on a promoter, even though it is in the kind of job name to promote the show, and they should definitely be doing some of the promotion. You should definitely hold them accountable if they are not, but also you should be held accountable if you're not. Putting out one post of like a poster or a flyer of the event online once is not good promotion. No one's noticing it. There is a good way of doing it using different types of content that we really break down over on the Patreon. And like I say, not just relying on the promoters to do it for you to take it into your own hands. Because at the end of the day, you have your own audience. The promoter can't always tap into that audience, and they will also have their own audience, as will the venues and whoever else has anything to do with the running of the show. They have their own audiences, which is great, and you want to be able to tap into that audience. That's why you're working with those people, but also it's a two-way street, right? They're working with you because you have your audience that you can bring to the shows, and the only person or people that can reach your audience is you. So you've got to do some of the legwork as well. It is not just about relying on the promoters all the time. It's really important to get that focus right. And it can be difficult to figure out what kind of posts to do to promote it, or any other things you can do, like posting up flyers in different places and like in rehearsal rooms, out on the street. There's obviously legalities around that, but it's just figuring out the best way of doing that and getting promotion out there. It can feel really cringe, I know, to keep promoting a show all the time, but it's just so crucial because your fan base aren't just going to be around and see that poster once and go, oh, I'm going to go to that. It's going to take a few times for them to see it and remember. Most of the time, I miss gigs, right? Because I don't know they're happening. And that is because I will see someone, they've posted their gig on the day of the event. And I've gone, oh shit, if I'd have known about that before, I would have gone. And then I look and go, why didn't I see that? And then you go through and all of that person or artist's feed is about promoting their music, getting streams, trying to get followers and all of that. And they may have posted about the gig once or twice. And then I have no fucking clue that gig's going on, and you won't either. So it's just really important to make sure you have that consistency when you're promoting the show. The bonus tool for that this week, I put in 10 different content ideas. So if you're promoting a show, that you can apply as of today or whenever you check it out, to really help you structure and have a few more ideas when it comes to it, so it doesn't just feel cringy and you're not just sat struggling on what to post. And on Wednesday, it's a bit of a weird one because you think it's quite basic, but as I go into it, you might see that it's not. And it was all about gig prep. And I'm not just talking about things like remembering you've got, spare guitar strings or batteries or all the equipment that you need. That is important. And I went through how you should do that. For example, leaving stuff by a door or by somewhere you walk past the night before you're going to a gig. So you make sure you've got everything, you've got a bit of time, you're not panic packing, you're just going, right, make sure I've got everything, leave it in a spot where I know where it is, and make sure I leave with all of that stuff that's in that little corner or whatever when I leave to go to the show, and make sure it is all there. That is really important. But we were talking about some other things as well. Simple things that you may not think matter, but it really does. Like making sure you're hydrated, making sure you're well fed, and making sure you're well rested before a show. And the well rested part is certainly the most difficult part of doing it, because you can sit up and you can feel a bit nervous about it. But there are some apps, and I think I spoke about this. I haven't even checked. I should have checked. I'm pretty sure Headspace is on Netflix, and on Headspace they've got some really good meditation stuff to help you relax, to help you fall asleep. A good night's sleep is just so important to get, and it can really help you feel a bit more relaxed and more confident going into a show. Also speaking a lot about mindset and how we can shift our mindsets from laying awake at night worrying about the gig, switching that to try and really change our thought patterns, because our thought patterns are there to protect us. So we think negatively so we can think of the worst outcomes that could happen. which is great when we're trying to protect ourselves. Not so great when we're trying to walk into something confidently. It's just about switching that mindset, and instead of going, here's all the bad things that can happen, it's more about picturing, here's me walking on stage, strutting my stuff, everyone's loving it. You're walking in a lot more confident than you would if you were going, this is going to suck, I'm going to suck, the gig's going to suck, no one's going to be here, I'm going to play really badly. Because if you're going in with that frame of mind, it is way more likely to happen. If your brain is constantly trying to be on the defense to try and protect you all the time, then you're going to slip up more, because your brain's going to be looking out that much for all the warnings. You're going to see them more, and you're going to trip over on stage or whatever it is that you're worried about doing. So it's just about cleansing the mind, going in with a bit more positivity. On the bonus tier of Patreon, I made a pre-gig checklist. It includes everything like making sure you've got all your gear with you, so making sure you remember that, making sure you remember to eat and sleep and drink, and also a bit of a mindset checklist on there as well. It's really handy, and you can go through it, the day before or a few days before a gig, and it will really help you feel a bit more prepared going into a show. And yesterday we spoke about something really important, which is gig etiquette, right? So you can be the best band in the world, but if you turn up to a show and you're assholes or you're unprofessional, you're probably not going to get booked again, even if your music is fantastic. Because people talk, right? You go to a city, let's say you're having a bad day, and you might act a little bit shitty towards someone, whether it be a member of bar staff or the promoter or even venue owner or whoever it is, that then travels, right? So if you're rude to the bar staff, they'll go and tell the promoter. The promoter will then go and tell other promoters in the area, like, this band are good, but I'd really watch out with booking them because they're kind of dicks and you don't want to work with them. I've done that before when it's happened to me, when I've been on the receiving end of some rude or aggressive behavior. I've not only gone, I'm not going to book them again, I've given my fellow promoters and venue owners a bit of a heads up, and we don't say never book this band, but we say here's a heads up, and most people trust each other on that, so you're way less likely to get booked. And by the way, I'm not saying any of you listening or watching this are arseholes, but it can really make a difference if you go in feeling a bit crap or you've just had a bad day. It's better just to try and shake it off at the door, walk in the venue, and be as courteous and polite and as grateful as you possibly can. It's so important to make sure you turn up on time, make sure you're really polite and you're happy and you're kind of, willing to help people. And then at the end, making sure when you leave, you let everyone know you're leaving, you apologize if you have to leave early, and say thank you and goodbye. Just basic things like that, but they go such a long way because, again, if you do act positively, promoters give positive feedback to each other as well, right? So they say, we had this band in the other day and they were wicked. Not only were they wicked, they were genuinely lovely people. I'd really recommend booking them in because they're just awesome. So it actually makes such a big difference when you are looking for gigs. If you have that rep of being really nice and good to work with, you're way more likely to get booked. And on the bonus tier for that over on Patreon, I gave like a really brutal checklist with 10 questions. You can score yourself out of 5 and give yourself an overall rating. You can use it and look back at the last gig you did and really brutally, honestly mark yourself on how good you were and how polite you were and, how professional you were. And then you can start to see where your room for improvement is for your next show and the next 5 shows after that. And you can keep a log of them and see how you're progressing and see how you're doing. And it might seem a bit tedious, it might seem a bit patronizing, but it's not. It's really important to make sure that you have these elements because it really can be the difference as to whether you get booked again or not. But yeah, if you really want to start building a proper live game this year, the Patreon is for you, especially the topics we've covered over the last week. It's free to join. I've left a link in the description. Like I said, there's a bonus tier for a $5. I've explained what goes in there. You don't have to pay that. It's just a nice little additional thing that you can have for these tools, so it helps you implement these things straight away. But thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast today. Really enjoy doing it. Really enjoy being over at the Patreon. I'm going to be putting a poll in there over the weekend, and we're going to vote on what next week's topic is, which is super exciting. I don't even know what it's going to be yet, so we'll see. Thank you so much for watching, listening. I really appreciate the support on this, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend.